students, grade 12. Today I'm going to make a recording on grammar revision for quarter 2. Okay, let's start. Identify the underlined words. When I ask you to identify the underlined words, I mean mention whether they are a phrase or a clause, and identify the kind of phrase or clause. Okay, let's start. Number 1, frightened by the noise. I looked up. Where are the words that are underlined? Frightened by the noise. So is it a phrase or a clause? Of course it's a phrase, because frightened, it's not a verb, it's a participle. It is a participle. Okay? So the participle is not a verb. We mentioned that it's a phrase. What kind of phrase? Participle phrase. So number 1, the answer will be participle phrase. Then let's move to number 2. People who are careless don't follow the rules. People who are careless don't follow the rules. Now I'm going to focus on the underlined words. Who are careless? Is it a phrase or a clause? It's a clause. Why is it a clause? Because it involves a verb, are, and we have a subject, who, right? So it's a clause. What kind of clause? Adverbial clause, adjective clause, or noun clause? Noun clause we didn't explain. So here it's an adjective clause. If you find a group of words with a verb and they start with a relative pronoun, what are the relative pronouns? Who, whom, whose, which, where. So then this is what? Adjective clause. So number 2, adjective clause. Then we move to number 3. The Plains Indians, this is the name of a tribe of the Indians, decorated themselves so that they could make themselves look fierce. I focus on the underlined, so that they could make themselves. These words that are underlined, are they a clause or a phrase? Of course a clause, because we have the pronoun they and we have the verb could make. Okay, so the underlined words, adverbial clause. What kind of adverbial clause? Adverbial clause of purpose. Before mentioning that it's an adverbial clause, is it the main clause or subordinate clause? Number 3, subordinate clause. So at the beginning I'm going to mention subordinate clause and then adverbial clause of purpose. Then I move to number 4. If you buy that book, I'd like to read it. If I'm going to focus on the underlined, clause or phrase? Clause, because we have the pronoun you and the verb buy. Main clause or subordinate clause? Subordinate clause, right? Because it doesn't give meaning alone. If you buy that book, then what's going to happen? If you buy that book. Subordinate clause, adverbial clause of condition. Why of condition? Because it started with if. Then I move to number 5. Okay, I move to number 5. This book, a collection of short stories, was due yesterday. Okay, a collection of short stories, a group of words, no subject, no verb, then it's a phrase. And these words give me more information about the previous word. And they are inserted between two commas. Then a collection of short stories. Number 1, it's a phrase because no subject, no verb. Number 2, it gives me more information about the previous word and the words are inserted between commas, a positive phrase. Number 5, a positive phrase. Number 6, smelling the kitchen aromas always pleases me. It should be pleases because the subject here, smelling. Subject-verb agreement as you took in the SAT. Smelling the kitchen aromas. Now here the underline. Clause or phrase? Phrase, because smelling, the verb that ends in ing, it's not a verb, okay? It's part of the verb. It's a gerund, and we don't have a subject here, and we don't have a verb. Then the underlined words, number 6, gerund phrase. Gerund phrase. What's the position of this gerund phrase? It comes as a subject. Then number 7, the car covered with fresh snow looked like a mysterious mound. The car covered with fresh snow. Focus on the underlined words. Okay? Covered with fresh snow. Do we have a verb here? No, we don't have a verb. It's part of the verb. Covered is part of the verb. Right? Okay. Actually, number 7, it could be considered as an appositive phrase or participial phrase. But most probably we can consider it a positive phrase because the words are inserted between two commas. The punctuation here plays a role. So number 7, covered with fresh snow, a positive phrase. It gives me more information about the car. Right? Okay. So number 7, a positive phrase. She agreed quickly to retype the letter. The word quickly is underlined. If you want to identify quickly, quickly is an adverb of manner. Quickly, an adverb of manner. Number 9, we arrived too late for the opening ceremonies. For the opening ceremonies, in order to identify these words, they start with a preposition, prepositional phrase, and this prepositional phrase refers to late, and late is an adjective, right? Late is an adjective. So once the prepositional phrase identifies an adjective, then it's an adverbial phrase. So prepositional phrase, between brackets, adverbial phrase, because it modifies late. Then the last sentence, the ring that I lost belonged to my grandmother. That I lost. The underlined words, clause or phrase, clause, because it involves pronoun I and the verb lost. And it starts with the relative pronoun there. Then the underlined words, adjective clause. Adjective clause. Thank you so much. That's the end of our session. Till we meet again in another recording.